Hey guys, Randall Sampson here. We are at the Wakelet Boathouse. So we're hanging out today with a dynamic guest. Dynamic, when I say dynamic, it's the extraordinaire, one of the top leaders in the country working at the local district. So with myself here today, we also have the extraordinary co-captain Brandi Reams.
Hi, everyone. Yes, I am Brandi Reams, and we are here today with Brian Seymour. We are so excited to hear from him and see what he has to say and show us. I have heard many great things about you, Brian, so I'm looking forward to seeing what you have in store for us.
Great. Well, thank you for having me.
All right, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and walk us through what we're going to be looking at.
Yeah, so this is my 19th year in education. So I am currently the director of educational or instructional technology at Pickerington Schools, which is outside of Columbus, Ohio. We've done some amazing things with technology. We've gone one-to-one, which is really helping us with the current situation that we're in now. And all of our kids now have devices at home, so they're able to continue their learning through this little crisis we're going through right now. But we're keeping the learning going, which is good. So we've been able to do quite a few things. As Randall said, we got honored in 2018 as the ISTE's Distinguished District of the Year, which is a huge thing for us. And it really speaks to the the level of that. It's not just me or it's not just one other person. It's the entire district. And I've got a fantastic group of teachers and administrators here in Pickerington that are, they bust their butt every single day and really embracing this new modern level of education that we're doing.
People just think that you kind of showed up and it just happened yesterday that Pickerington was prepared to go totally virtual. So if you could just walk us through what you guys have been building over time and what that's looked like and your strategic plans that you kind of put in place. Just so people can get a quick snapshot as to where you've come from to how you got to this point.
Yeah, it was interesting. So myself and our executive director of teaching and learning were having a conversation about this morning. And really, honestly, we think this all started back about 8 years ago, to be honest with you. So about 8 years ago, I was actually a curriculum coordinator in our teaching and learning office. And that's when we made the decision to get rid of textbooks and to start move towards curriculum frameworks and to move more towards digital type options. And then the year after that, I was able to take over as the director of technology. And with that, we've created a really, really robust technology plan that had a strong focus on teaching and learning first. It's not a technology plan, it's a teaching and learning plan that's infused with technology or is supported through technology. So with that, we spent an entire year creating that plan, talking with lots of different people. And then we were going to do a slow rollout of going one-to-one. We chose our middle schools and 2 of our elementary schools. So our rollout or our pilot was about 3,000 kids to start out with, which is a big pilot. But it really worked out really, really well. And we took some of our board members in and had some conversations, and they said, how can we make this faster or happen faster? Because this is just such amazing things that we're seeing. So then we were able to roll out one-to-one for 14 months for 11,000 kids across our school district. But a lot of that work wasn't necessarily about the technology, but it was about the pedagogy, about the idea of we have a model that we use. It's a blended learning model we call tradigital learning, which is the blending of best teaching practices of a traditional classroom and those of a digital classroom. So looking at a lot of John Hattie's work and some of the barometers of influence and trying to figure out what is best and what do we need to keep and what do we need to get rid of, and then what do we need to add into that as well too. So really just a lot of talking about best teaching practices. And now that we've done a lot of this with one-to-one, we've been completely one-to-one now for 4 years. So really the transition of now we're at home for the next 3 weeks and God knows how much longer than that, it really hasn't been that huge of a barrier for our teachers because all of our kids were in Google Classroom already. All of our kids knew how to use ClassLink to get to all of their different apps. They've got iReady, they've got Alex Math, they've got MemBeam, all of these different resources that we're using on a regular day. Our teachers are just rolling through and continuing to use those now that we're at home.
That's amazing. 11,000 kids, all one-to-one, rolled out seamlessly with no problem. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's
Seamlessly to the public, but we had to do a lot of work to get there. Yes.
Yeah, that's a great team right there. So the cooperation between Wakelet and Flipgrid became a thing at Brian's district when they had an innovation conference. That was the first time that Wakelet and Flipgrid actually were in the same space, and they didn't even know each other. So it was almost like a blind date that Brian set up. And
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Happened.
You're welcome. I didn't even know the magic happened until afterwards, but hey, it was good. Yeah. No, it's really for me, and I'm sure a lot of people in kind of my position or in any education position, there's a lot of articles out there and a lot of cool things to find, but you don't have the time to read them all. So that's really where Wakelet started for me. Was I needed a place that I could house some cool stuff that I wanted to read later, keep reference later on. Especially as we were going one-to-one and trying to figure out some of those people that have already done that work, looking at some different research pieces and things like that, and to be able to have those pieces kind of stored into there. So that's really a lot of what my Wakelet collection is. A lot of different things. If we scroll down here a little bit, if I can, there we go. Just a lot of things, you know, like ed tech conferences that we go to, a lot of stuff with Google, computer science, dealing with pedagogy, dealing with different levels of blended learning. So I've got a bunch of these different pieces and just kind of throwing those into there. The other really cool thing, and Randall talked about our innovation conference that we do. Every year we have an in-house innovation conference, and we bring in some fairly big keynote speakers. We brought in Rick Wormley, we've brought in Dave Burgess, we brought in Eric Scheninger. Next year, we're bringing in Caitlin Tucker and Alice Keeler. So just some big educational technology and just education people in general. And one of the things that we do is we offer them a class with Randall's help. Thank you so much. That they can actually earn college credit if they tweet out so many times, at 65 times throughout the course of the day. But then the nice thing is they have to create a Wakelet at the end of that. And then all of those Wakelets are then shared with the rest of our staff. So with each one of those breakout sessions, we've got 25 sessions or so people can attend. You can only get to one. So here's now sharing all of this information, sharing all this data. And then we also, our superintendent shares that out with the public and with the board to say, this is what we're doing on those professional development days that your kids aren't at school. So it's been really, really beneficial for us on those types of things. The other thing that we're getting started with doing right now is we have a new strategic plan we're calling our Plan for Progress. And inside of that, it's got a bunch of different pillars and a bunch of different parts, but it's really all about, for academics, personalized learning, professional learning, changing PD into professional learning, because nobody wakes up in the morning and says they want to be developed. So trying to change that vernacular, the whole child and relationships, and then also looking at authentic experiences. So one of the things that we're trying to do now is who's doing this well in our school district. And we're going to start to take some pictures, take some videos. And we've always struggled with, how do we keep a hold of that, or how do we share that information out? Because you can do some things on social media, you can do some things here, but education needs context around it, and being able to add the text into what you've got with Wakelet has been very, very nice. So we're trying to build those up now, so that way we can scale all of these things across the entire district, and not just to, you know, this classroom or that classroom. So this is just a pedagogy page that I've got. And once again, it's just a lot about cool things that I've found out there and keeping a hold of those. And the nice thing is that it's very easy to share. It's very easy to send out to other people. So if you're really looking for other things, here they all are. And then we have got a few that are collections between my entire team, and we just kind of share those things across the board. But it's just been really nice. It's quick and easy to do. There's an extension. You can do it right in Twitter. Just add all those pieces in, and there you go.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, I love that you're able to keep those learning communities together and seamlessly share things, you know, among all of them. You know, me being here in North Carolina, I find that a lot of the really big educational things happen in other states. It's not happening here where I am. And so I really like to keep up with all of that. So this makes it really easy for other educators like myself.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we kept looking for, because when we went one-to-one, there really wasn't a large school district like us that had gone one-to-one in Ohio. So I couldn't really travel anywhere to see that in Ohio. So yeah, we were looking for places outside of Ohio. We found a school district in Colorado. We found a school district in New Mexico. And so we were just sharing stuff back and forth with, what had they done? And they were only maybe a year or so ahead of us. But trying to learn from each other and figuring out, and then trying not to replicate things as well too. We don't need to reinvent the wheel every time. So being able to share those through Wakelets was very nice.
And what this tells me is you got a lot of trust. So the folks in your district, you've built a lot of trust with your folks to where you can have a pedagogy page of items that you've already read and vetted and think that this would help. And for teachers, that's really helpful because now you don't have to go looking for stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And if there's somebody I can trust that already has information in there for me, I'm good with that because I know they have the best interest in heart and everybody's real clear about the vision and the mission here. So this is really speaks about your team and the trust that you guys have established with your teachers.
Mm-hmm. So I'm working with a company called the Jefferson Education Exchange. They're out of Washington, D.C. And one of their recent research studies came out that said that, 90% of educators know that there's research out there, but only about 8% of them actually use it. And I believe a lot of that is because it just takes a lot of time to go through all the research and read it. And some of that is really dry material, unfortunately. So what we've done is our team has tried to really kind of break that down and say, we'll do that work for you. And here's what we found that fits our model and fits what we need. And that's what you're finding in some of these Wakelets, some more articles that are more easier to read, less of the research jargon, but reinforced by those researches that we found.
That's really awesome. I like that. You can go through and kind of navigate and filter through what it is that you're looking for as well.
Well, Brian, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule as you guys are running a total one-to-one 11,000 kids schedule for the last 24 hours, just trying to make sure all the bells and whistles are working, and you're taking time to do this with us. So we want to thank you so much. Brandi, anything else before we wrap this up?
No, but your 11,000 makes my 25 look like, I've got all my little ducks in one pond. I can't imagine.
It's just a matter of scale.
I'm grateful for my small class size.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here with us. This is really enlightening, and I'm really excited to be able to share this with other educators who are like myself looking for other professional development resources and tools that we can use and might not be local to our area.
Yeah, well, great. Thank you so much for having me. And like I said, it's not just me that's driving this ship, but we've got a fantastic team and great group of teachers and a great group of kids and community members here in Pickerington. So I've been very lucky to be able to spend my whole career here. So thank you for having me, and hope everybody survives what we're in now.
Yeah, absolutely will. And guys, keep riding that Wakelet wave, and we'll see you at the Boathouse with some more stories. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Is that Brayley? I love it.